When I was reading about the Vinaya, read that the Buddha, when he attained enlightenment, he got up and he took 7 steps, and that became the measure of a lot of different things, including the largest house that a monk could build. If they had to build their own structure, if they had to maintain their own house separate from the monastery, that was the biggest space that they could control for themselves, for their personal use. Was 7 Buddha steps, which is a little bit large. But I figure I'm well within that if I have 24 feet to the next wall, the outside wall, so 24 by 24. In the United States, having a house that is 24 by 24, especially in the 1970s, in the 1980s, in the 1990s, people would call you a communist. And there were a lot of things about, there are things that the Buddhas are doing for the monastics that they will also do for anyone else who does the same things. And sometimes you want to be on that program, and sometimes you want to be on different programs available to other things. That they need to be available for people who are following things in the strictest manner in what the Buddha actually said. And then, but then for them to have what they need in continuum, they have to have stuff for the people that are a little bit different than that. And, that they come and they bring the vegetables for their meal. And they give them the donations and stuff through the activities. That the best at the highest livelihood is begging, but who do you beg from if nobody's doing anything else? And so the Buddhas will protect that continuum, and that's why people give to the monks. That's why people give these things, because then you become part of the continuum of someone that the Buddha protects in a very specific manner. But the more people know about this, the more they understand where to block different things. But so there are a lot of Buddhists in the Soviet Union. There were a lot of Buddhists in the Soviet Union. There were a lot of people who were strict Buddhists. There were a lot of people who were told that they could no longer be Buddhist, went to Siberia to be shamans so that they could mutter their words and say, I'm no longer being Buddhist, I'm being a shaman right now, which is kind of what I'm doing. And so there's a lot of things. They didn't have privacy in the Soviet Union. They didn't have privacy under the Tsar. They kept a lot of data. And one night in the late 1970s, I'm riding home in a car on I-65 from Crawfordsville, having just witnessed my first a cappella choir at Wabash University. And Mike Braun is in the car with me, and he throws me out of it. And the Buddhists put me back in. They said, hey, Holly, Jesus ain't going to help you. Ask for help from the Buddhas, and I'll put you back in the car.